What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Punk Rock Radar. Today we are doing our best of September, where we're going to talk about our favorite releases of the previous month. And I am joined, as always, by Dylan, aka Screeching Bottle Rocket from DyingScene.com. Dylan, happy Monday. How was your weekend?
It was awesome. It wasn't as exciting as last weekend. Went to see NoFX and Less Than Jake and a bunch of other bands, and almost died of heat exhaustion.
Yeah, I had a decent weekend too. I went to my mom's for the weekend. Saw the kids and my sister, and they're asking me, they're like, John, share something, like what's going on, blah blah blah. And the only thing I could think of was that I arranged my cables all nicely on my desk now. So that's where my life's at. I've got a pretty neat cable management situation here. So now September, on the other hand, I felt was a pretty good month overall. I think we both picked about 4 albums to talk about and then a handful of EPs we're going to hit. And then, as always, Dylan's going to run through his singles. But let's get to this first album here. We've got Scars by American Television. And for me, Dylan, I'm a huge Copyrights fan, and that's kind of the first band I think of when I hear this. I also hear a little bit of Dopamines, and just generally that It's Alive Records, Red Scare Records sound, which I'm a big fan of. Definitely more a fan of that style punk than like traditional Ramones core. So I'm really liking this album. I picked up my copy on Bandcamp Friday this past week. This was on your list too. So what did you have to say about this?
I like it. This is one of the bands that has been left homeless in the fallout of the Anti-Flag stuff. They were on AF Records. So that sucks. I'm sure someone will pick them up though, and it seems like the record got pressed anyway, so that's good. Yeah, my favorite song is probably I Am the Fire, and I agree on the copyrights comparison.
Yeah, so there's so many of these albums that I'm still like in my listening cycle. Here's Milo, by the way. He's joined me, graced us with his present. I think Scars is my favorite so far. When I posted it, I said Moments, but I think that was the first single, so I was just more familiar with it. But there's a bunch of good songs. I am pretty sure that Smart Punk picked this up, but yeah, it's the whole AF thing is a mess. But I'm glad this saw the light of day because it's a really good album. So up next, we've got Dylan's first pick here, RBNX. This is a late edition. He added it on today. Album is called Nothing Here Is Yours. I haven't heard it yet, Dylan. So what made this surge today?
So sometimes it pays to send me a message on Instagram. These guys messaged me on Instagram and they said I should check out their new record, and they're going on tour in a few weeks. Yeah, if you like Against All Authority, I don't know if they would want me to compare them to Leftover Crack and Choking Victim, but similar to that, ska-core, real rough around the edges. But yeah, the album's awesome. They're from your neck of the woods. I don't know anything about the geography of New York, but they're from Poughkeepsie.
No, they're from Poughkeepsie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like 10 minutes from my hometown. So I'm definitely going to have to check these guys out. I had no idea. Dylan and I have a Word doc or a Google doc we share, and this just popped up there today. So, man, if they're a local Dutchess County band, now I'm definitely going to check it out. So we'll play a clip.
Yeah, go to one of the shows.
Yeah, I'll check them out at a show for sure. All right, so up next, I think Dylan, I think every one of my picks except one was also on your list, so this is no exception. We've got Contra Code's latest album called Friday Junior. It came out on Kinda Cool Records. And there's a lot of bands popping up, especially in Canada, doing this style where it's kind of like punk, but it's got a mix of like thrash and metal in it. And they all seem, like I said, they all seem to kind of be from Canada. But of the bunch that's come out this year, this is probably like my favorite. I don't know what it is. Like, I went for a walk the other day to go get some food, and I had this in my nice headphones the whole way, and it just popped. It just sounded so good for me. I love all the guitar riffs. I like the vocals. Yeah, it's just a badass album. I was sent it a few weeks early, so I had a lot of time to really connect with it. And yeah, dude, it's not only one of my favorites of September, but it's like inching its way up there of my favorites of the year. Definitely my favorite in this style of the year so far. So Dylan, I know you like a lot of this that comes out of this style, like the Thousand Islands, People of Punk Rock are the labels that come to mind. What are your overall thoughts here on Friday Junior?
I'm surprised the album's not on one of those labels.
Yeah.
They're from Vancouver, which I think People of Punk Rock is in Western Canada. I could be wrong.
Montreal, I think. Okay,
that's Eastern Canada. Anyway, yeah, this band fits right in with all the bands on those labels. That Satanic Surfers, Wilhelm Scream kind of vibe. This is an awesome album, man. I like the singles leading up to it, and I like the album a lot. If I had to pick a favorite song to play a clip of, it'd probably be Reprimand, which I don't believe was a single.
All right, we'll play it. Yeah, my only complaint is that music video for Put Some Flames on It was kind of rough, but but overall it's an awesome album. We'll play Dylan's pick here.
Persistence here is key. The squeaky wheel gets the green.
All right, so up next, we got another one of Dylan's picks here. We got Thousand Oaks. Album is called Remnants. There was some confusion on my part. I had no idea what this was. It was Friday morning, putting together my my picks for the week, and I saw Thousand Oaks on my release radar, and like I went back to their Instagram and stuff. I didn't see anything about a new album. I like Googled it. I didn't see anything, so I just assumed this was like a compilation, which I think it maybe kind of is. Otherwise, I definitely would have included it. But I had texted Dylan, and I'm a crazy person. I don't sleep. I get up super early if I do sleep, so Dylan wasn't awake yet. But when he did finally rise, he told me, yeah, it's legit new. And here it is on your list, man. So what are your thoughts on the Thousand Oaks record?
They have a knack for the element of surprise. This is the second thing they've released this year that they didn't really say anything leading up to it. But yes, it is a bunch of old songs, I guess EP songs or singles and things of that nature, and supposedly it's remastered. I'm gonna be honest, and I'm sorry if they're watching this, but I don't think it sounds all that great. I don't know what they did to remaster the songs, but I think compared to their most recent album, sonically it's not quite up to par with that. But I mean, having said that, these guys are one of my favorite bands right now. And I think there's a few like really standout songs on here, especially Nest of Vipers, I think is by far my favorite song. One of them is new. I can't remember which song is new though.
I think it's his first one. I could be wrong. But I feel like when I looked for this, like to try and find out what it was, that this was like alone by itself on Bandcamp. Don't quote me there, but it's got 10,900 plays already in less than a month. So
yeah, but yeah, Thousand Oaks, another awesome melodic skate punk band. The new album is one of my favorite of the year.
All right, so we'll move along here. Another band, I feel like there's been rumblings that Random Hand is coming back for years, And for those of you that don't know, Hit Reset, which came out, I think it's the one right before this, so like 8 or so years, is a top 20 ska punk album for me of all time. So I was really, really looking forward to this album. And honestly, it's only 10 songs. That's like my only real complaint here. But I think this is another one that's like inching its way into my top 10. I think no other band can blend the amount of styles these guys do. Like this album is definitely more focused than I think some of the other ones are, where it's like, you know, metal, ska, punk. But there's still like pieces of that in here, like on Here Lies the Music, which is my favorite track so far. And yeah, this, if you like ska punk or like just like punk in general, this is an awesome record. Random Hand is so underrated. I see they got a ton of plays, but yeah, dude, this one, I went to go pick it up, of course, because if I really like an album, like I really like this one, I'm gonna support the band. The only thing is, like, if you're a fan in the US, this is a very cost prohibitive album. I think it was like gonna come to like $60 shipped to the US. So I held off for now. We'll see what else pops up for me. But overall, just absolutely killer album. Nobody does it better than Random Hand. Dylan was on your list too. So what do you have to say here?
These guys and Faintest Idea, I've always put in like the same box for the most part. But this album, I think, really separates them from Faintest Idea. It's a lot, I don't want to say poppier, but more like pop sensibilities. But yeah, they're a very versatile band. They have a lot of heavy songs and then some more like bouncier, like stuff that's similar to like the what's that one label? Bad Time Records bands, kind of. But yeah, if you like ska punk, it's an excellent band, and I really like the album. Devil with a Microphone is my favorite song.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna play. I'm not sure if there's a video for that one, we'll play it. But overall, yeah, Random Hand, killer band. Go check it out if you haven't heard them already.
Well, these voices are not so loud. They think the game way loud.
And we'll move along. Up next, we've got a Dylan pick. We've got the Subjunctives. So Dylan, what do you have to say about this record here?
Former member of Sicko, a very underrated band. If you like Sicko and the Muffs, there's a lot of songs on here that sound like Muff songs. You will like the Subjunctives. This is their second album. I thought the first album was awesome. I'm gonna be honest, I've listened to most of this album, but not the whole thing yet. I just have a lot of catching up to do. But the album is excellent. The band is great. If you like the Muffs, you will like the Subjunctives.
Goodbye, I will not miss you. Dick, goodbye, I will not miss you. Dick, goodbye, I will not miss you. Dick, goodbye, I will not miss you.
All right, so next one is coming from me. Dude, this may be the most ska heavy best of we've ever had. So I'm going Mustard Plug here, and let me just start by saying this. The first time I heard this, I really maybe wasn't feeling it. It was a grower for me, and now, like, you know, now that we're doing the show and listening to all this stuff, I usually don't allot myself to growers. Like if I'm listening to it and it's not clicking, I've got 50 other albums to listen to, so I just toss it to the side. But I'm a pretty big fan of these guys, so I stuck with it, and I'm really glad that I did. Like, there's a couple songs on here, like the title track, of course, I think is probably my favorite, but also Fortress on the back half is probably number 2 for me. If you liked it right away, that's awesome. I feel like I'm not the best person to talk about Mustard Plug, because In Black and White is my favorite of their albums, and every time I tell that to somebody, they say that's like the hottest hot take there is. But overall, this is, of the ska albums we've done so far, this is definitely the most traditional third wave sounding one. So if that's more your style and you've missed this one somehow, it's definitely worth checking out. Dylan, did you have a chance to check this one out yet?
Yeah, this one, the singles didn't really grab my attention that well, to be honest. I really want to give it a shot. I haven't tried to listen all the way through, but the singles I felt like were overly plentiful while also being very underwhelming. So yeah, and I will listen to this album at some point. Maybe it surprisingly ends up on my best of 2023 lists or something, but right now I'm not feeling the new Mustard Plug too much.
Yeah, because I think you're a bigger ska fan than me. Just start with Fortress. That'd be my I don't think this was a single, so check that one out.
When I listen to a new album, I like to listen all the way through,
Yeah.
especially if it's a band I like.
Same.
So if my enjoyment is not high when doing that, then that's a problem. But I'll give it a shot. But right now, I'm not too big into it.
Fair enough. We've got a lot of stuff to listen to, so you can't always listen to everything.
What did I do to cause this? Why am I talking to myself? Where did all my friends go?
Which is what happened here. Dylan, with Honor's album, made it onto your list. This is probably the album that more people have texted me about this year, and I keep saying I'm gonna listen. I haven't got there yet. Like, this is definitely not my go-to sound for punk. Like, that this is very, very melodic hardcore forward. But Dylan, it did make it onto your list, so let's hear what you have to say about Boundless.
I like it. It reminds me of bands like Counterparts, and those bands that were like pretty big in like the late 2010s. That was around the time I was like, just anything that was new, any new music, I gave it a chance because I was writing like 50 posts a day for Dying Scene and stuff. So all those bands, Counterparts, Architects, too many to name really. This reminds me a lot of that. So it's not really a new sound. It sounds a lot like those records that were coming out at the time. But I think as a whole, the album's really well produced. I'm surprised Pure Noise Records released it because they don't really have any other bands that sound like this on their roster. It's hard to pick out specific songs because it's all pretty samey sounding. But I think as an album, it's really good. So we'll go with My Anchor will be our song we're going to play.
Yeah, these guys, I kind of remember. I'm pretty sure they're an East Coast band. I remember them being pretty popular when this one came out. I was gonna say Victory, but I'm wrong. Yeah, overall, like the tone I get is like Equal Vision 2010. Like like the like Guns Up and like those kind of bands is like more what I hear. Which I listened to a few songs. I thought it was pretty good, but just like, not my thing right now. I'm sure I'm gonna get into it later if more people recommend it. But,
yeah, I mean, some people are nostalgic for the 90s. At some point, people will be nostalgic for the 2010s, I guess. So With Honor's early to the party with the album.
When life's unfair and I'm in pain, nothing stays the same.
All right, so that is going to do it for albums. We're going to do some quick hitters on EPs. And I've got the first one pulled up here. This band is called Skeech. They're from Germany, and they just put out this EP. It's only a handful of songs called Skeech or Die. I think I've played the song on at least 2 or 3 posts already because I think Skeech or Die is such a badass song. And I like this so much, dude. When I saw that this was just like a preliminary step towards their album, I reached out and I said, hey, I want to work with you guys. Cat's Claw was in, so you will be seeing a full length from these guys pretty soon. And we'll be working on it. And this album is badass. All the songs these guys have are awesome. And the clips of the album I've heard so far are just going to be more of this. So just straightforward, fat Epitaph style skate punk. I'm super excited about it. Dylan, I think this was on your list too. So any thoughts here?
Yeah, and I have a unbiased perspective on it because I had no clue about any of that. So that's news to me. Very cool. Yeah, it's great. I miss when I would find bands like this, just a random EP. So really good 3 songs, and the acoustic song is a bonus too. But yeah, like it's like skate punk meets like Teenage Bottle Rocket almost. I really like this, and I need to. Have they released anything before this? I didn't even look.
I think there's one more EP, and there's 2 more EPs.
Okay,
So
I got catching up to do, and I'll buy the record when it comes out too.
There we go. All right, so up next, we've got a 4-way split, so I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to pull it up here, but Jukebox Romantics, who I think they're from downstate New York. We got Lost in Society, who I believe is New Jersey. American Thrills from Connecticut, and Night Surf from, I think, New York City. So we got 4 local tri-state bands here. Blood in the Water, it's on Sell the Heart Records, and I think Wiretap too, maybe another label, but 4 awesome newer punk bands, and I'm really digging all the songs from these guys. I think Heavy Boy by Jukebox Romantics is my favorite that I've heard so far. Dylan, have you given this one a spin yet?
I listened to the American Thrills songs and the Jukebox Romantics songs. Jukebox Romantics I think is the longest running of these bands. I could be wrong, but I think they've been around a while. But yeah, some really cool labels involved with it. Like you said, Wiretap and Sell the Heart, who's the dude who runs that label, is a really cool guy. Thousand Islands. So I mean, if it gets those labels stamp of approval, it's usually going to be good. So this is another like kind of throwback. Like bands don't really do splits like this too much anymore.
Yeah, I love the idea of a 4-way split. Like instead of getting essentially what would be like 4
a 7-inch.
Yeah, like 4 double A-side singles, which, you know, like when I see like a double single, I'm really probably just gonna listen to the one song. But this one, I just tossed all of it on my playlist, and it's like a whole album. So, and I like all these bands, so I was stoked to be able to play this. I'm gonna have to grab a copy from one of those labels for sure. Up next, Dylan, we got one of your picks here. We've got Try Again, and this came out on People of Punk Rock, right?
You know, we couldn't go a month without having a People Punk Rock release, so they snuck in here. Yeah, I don't know where these guys are from. They're from Quebec, so of course. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 4-song EP, nice and short, and all the songs are great. If you like technical melodic punk, then this is a good little bite-sized thing to listen to.
Yeah,
they got 3 other albums too.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. I got, and they're all 2000, 2002, and 2019. So they've been around for a while. I have to check this one out still, but it's on my list to listen to. Up next for me, I've got another split, and this is one I didn't know was coming out either. It was a late addition to my picks of the week. Bucket is a band that I think I posted before. They had Always Chasing Greener Grass come out in 2021. Song Burn is badass. All 3 of their songs on here are really good. And then the other band on here is called A Few Years Later. And I don't think I've heard of them before, and I actually really like their songs too. This is like just a skate punk Fat Wreck style release, which is, you know, what I look for. And I've got to check out the rest of the A Few Years Later stuff. You can tell by this album cover what you're getting. It's very like Punkorama looking album cover. So Dylan, I feel like this one snuck under a lot of people's radars. Did you see this one, listen to it yet?
I did not. This flew under my radar too, so now it's on my radar. I'm listening to the bucket songs right now, and Fast Run kind of sounds like older, like High Standard almost.
Yeah, I think you're definitely gonna like it. It'll be on your revised list for sure.
It looks like they're from Finland though, not Japan, so I don't might not be a great comp to High Standard.
All right, so up next, this is one that's on both of our lists here. We got Normie. I think another Smart Punk Records band. We had American Television before. The album is called What the Fuck Planet Are These Guys From? It's an EP. My favorite track on here is the last one, Right Place, Wrong Time. And Dylan, I want to say this for the people out there because I have seen some people mention this. This is like pretty straightforward skate punk. This isn't like they're getting lumped in with a lot of like bands like Neck Deep and Knuckle Puck. I don't think that these guys sound like. So if you're one of those people that maybe lump them in with those bands, I would give this another listen. Especially the EP prior, which I think I like slightly better. But Dylan, what do you have to say about this one?
I think the comparisons are probably because the production style is very similar to those bands, really polished. The vocals too, kind of, and they have some poppier songs, but the fast songs like "Thanks for Nothing" and songs like that, definitely more skate punk. So I'd say it's like 50-50. I can see where people compare them to bands like Neck Deep and stuff. But Smart Punk is really pushing these guys. They're like the hot band on Smart Punk Records right now.
Yeah, I will say the vocals definitely remind me of Parker Cannon from Story So Far. So I can kind of see that, but I think these guys are a lot more straight punk than those bands are. And I really like this band. We've got one more EP left. We got Reason to Leave and their new EP, which is called Rise and Grind. I just had this on one of my PRR on PRR lists. I had Let Them Decide, which is my favorite track on the album. And Dylan, this made it to your top 4 of September. So let me hear your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, surprise, surprise, more skate punk kind of stuff. This is like more like, I would say like 90s skate punk. It's not as technical and, like Wilhelm Scream inspired as a lot of newer skate punk bands. They're from England, which I think they have the honor of being Faintest Idea is from England too, so they're an elite company with Faintest Idea as one of the 2 English bands on this month's video.
Random Hand. Right.
Yeah, Random Hand. Sorry, I'm fucking dumbass. I like the opening song the most. What Are You Fighting For?
Yeah, so it's a badass album. I feel like this came out on a label, but it says Just Reason to Believe. I'm like drawing a blank which label, but I really like this too. I feel like I've talked to these guys before, and you're totally right with the sound of it. It's got like a late 80s, early 90s feel to it. Very raw, which
it's more straightforward.
Yeah, it works.
Nobody's going Eddie Van Halen on the guitars.
All right, so that's gonna wrap it up for EPs. Dylan, you only picked out 5 singles this month, which is awesome. I'm usually like frantically typing through like a dozen as you say them. So let's hear your single picks.
New Moonraker song. Do they have an album coming out or something? I don't know.
It's gonna be a split with Next Scars. It's coming out on Bipolar Records, Sell the Heart Records, and Engineer Records. But yeah, go on.
Fireman, great song. They just put out an awesome album last year, right?
Yes.
So Moonraker, rolling strong. Modus, Fire, Following Reason. I'll be honest, I don't know much about these guys. They're a ska band, more ska. Very non-traditional ska band, at least based on what I hear on this song. I heard this on your New Music Friday playlist, and I liked it a lot, so
yeah,
we got it on here. Another Canadian band, but very different from all the other ones we've talked about. Ray Gun Cowboys, their new song "We Want It All." This is a single from an album. I can't remember what the name of the album is, but it's coming out soon on Stomp Records. They have a horn section, but it's more like rockabilly, I want to say. Yeah, their bio describes them as a brass-heavy punk rockabilly band. This is very atypical from the type of music I listen to, but I thought the song had a really like strong theme and musical direction that I really liked. Really cool song, and the hook is great. A band from Florida, more ska, Chilled Monkey Brains. Can't remember where they're from. I think they're from South Florida. Chilled Monkey Brains, they have a new album coming very soon, and they have a cover of Suburban Home by the Descendants, which sounds nothing like the original, and I really like when bands do that. And there's a really fun music video that goes with this as well. And then last up, we have a very controversial band, The Defiant, with Dickie from the Boss Tones, Pete Parada, formerly The Offspring, some Smash Mouth dude, and some other guys. Yeah, I didn't like their first single at all. It was really boring. This song is pretty good, though. I feel like it's pretty solid. Everything I've heard so far has reminded me a lot of Pay Attention era Boss Tones, minus the ska, which that really wasn't a very ska-heavy album to begin with. I'm curious what you think of this, if anything, if you've even listened to it.
I'm with you. Like, I think I featured the first one on best of the week, but I was like, it's all right. I mean, I kind of have to feature it, but the second one, this one, I think is way better too. I mean, overall, like, I'm definitely not blown away by either one of these tracks. I think the album art is really cool. I love like the 1950s comic book style is badass, and I saw that the album covers in the same theme, obviously. But both of these real strong album art games. But overall, it's all right. But I could see why you picked the second one. But yeah, that's gonna do it. We kept it. We're over 30 minutes. The goal was 30 minutes, but we're pretty close. As always, if you want to recommend something, you can do it two ways. You can leave a comment down below, or you can head to our Discord. There will be a link down below in the bio. And we've got a new music section there. Every Friday morning, starting around 5:45, I'm in there pasting in everything I could find. So if you're an early riser, that's the best time to send me something, because will be listening from about 5:45 straight up to 9 o'clock. So you could do that. Dylan's also going to have a companion article to this, which there will also be a link down below where you can see links to all this stuff. And we have a playlist to hear a song from all the albums we picked out. So make sure you're down there and following the playlist so you can hear all these cool songs. Dylan, anything else we can look forward to over on Dying Scene?
Yeah, hit the link, like John said. The article will have links to where you can listen to the full albums. It'll have the embedded players, links to where you can buy the albums on vinyl, CD, whatever. October is looking good so far. There's a lot of stuff that came out in the first week that's really surprising, actually. So next month should be good as well. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching, everybody.